See here, these are simply points. How many points are there? Can you tell me how many points are there here? Now, don't shout the answers together. Yeah, of course, you are not like 600 children who shout all together, but still. Okay, 4 answers. Particular answers, when I ask, you can say it, that person only. Okay. Now, 4 points are there. All the 4 points are in a straight line. Can you see? When I draw a line, all the 4 points are coming in a straight line. When such lines are there, such points are there, we call them collinear. Collinear points. Collinear means line is there. Can you see? L-I-N-E. Lying on a same line. That is the meaning. Collinear. All these points are collinear points. Okay. Now, if one point out of these 4 points, if one point comes out, then what can be formed? What figure can be formed? We can form a triangle. Okay. Yes. We can form a triangle. Triangle, you can see all the sides. The sides are, can you see the sides? How many sides are there? There are 3 sides. Yes, you can see that there are 3 sides, and these 3 sides together, they form a polygon. Have you heard about the word polygon? Have you heard about the word polygon, children? What do you mean by a polygon? Adira, can you tell me what is meant by a polygon? Adira or Dia, anyone? Anyone? Whoever knows. It is a 6th standard maths polygon. It is not a type of hexagon, dear. Sorry. Yes? No. Polygon is a simple closed figure. Yes, correct. Yes, polygon is a simple closed figure. Simple closed figure made up of straight lines. Okay, it is made up of straight lines. Simple closed figure made up of straight lines. They are known as polygons. Now, simple straight lines is a must. Now, if I draw a figure like this, will that become a polygon? It is all made up of straight lines. All are straight lines. Why? Because it is crossing here. When two lines cross, they are no more simple. Simple means the lines should not cross each other. Okay, it should be straight lines and the lines should not be crossing also. So these are known as polygons. So the smallest polygon is, can you name the smallest polygon? It is a triangle. Yes, smallest polygon is a triangle, because with two sides, two straight lines, you cannot make a closed figure. It has to be, polygon has to be closed, it has to be simple, and it has to be made up of straight lines alone. Now we have taken 4 points, and in that 1 point is coming out. Okay, and we are getting a triangle. Now in these 4 points, if all the 4 points, if you think, none of the 3 are coming in a straight line. Here in this case, we can see there are 3 points coming in a straight line. Here is 1 point, 2nd point, 3rd point. Now if we arrange these 4 points in such a way that none of the 3 points come in a straight line, then what is the figure we'll be getting? Let us see. See here, when we take the point here, there are only 2 points. Here again 2 points. 2 points are forming a straight line, but 3 points are not coming in a straight line. Can you see? I've taken all the 4 points in such a way, I've arranged it in such a way that they don't come in a straight line. 3 of them don't come in a straight line. Any 2 points are there, we can always join them to form a straight line. But here 3 points are not coming in a straight line. And then what is the figure we are getting? We are getting a 4-sided figure. Is it a polygon? Yes. We are getting a 4-sided figure, and it is known as a quadrilateral. Quadrilateral. Quadri means 4. Lateral means side. So we are getting a 4-sided figure, quadrilateral. Now quadrilaterals can be any way. This is another quadrilateral. Now if I draw a quadrilateral like this if I draw a quadrilateral, one line is coming here, here 1. Is this a quadrilateral? Is this a quadrilateral? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides are there. Is this a quadrilateral? No, there are 5 sides. Okay, quadrilateral means it should have only 4 sides. So today in this class we are going to learn all about quadrilaterals. Okay, so 4-sided quadrilateral. A quadrilateral has 4 sides, then it has 4 angles, and it has got 4 vertices as well. Now if I give the name here for this quadrilateral as A, B, C, D. Now how do I give the name? That also you should know. A, will go fast because these are all fundamentals. A, B, C, D. Now if I am taking it clockwise direction, then I can name it as A, B, C, D, quadrilateral A, B, C, D. Or if I am starting from B, I can call it as quadrilateral B, C, D, A. Or if I am starting from C, how will I call it? Ritika, can you tell the name? If I am starting from C, how will you call it? C, D, A, B. And if I am starting from D, Srinath, how will we call it? Srinath Hari. Srinath Hari, are you there? Starting from D, how will we call it? Okay, your microphone is not clear. Okay. D, A, B, C. We get it as D, A, B, C. Now, switch off your microphone, dear. It's all right. Now, if we are starting in, this is anti-clockwise direction we have done. If we are doing it in clockwise direction also, we can name. Either we can go it anti-clockwise direction or we can name it in clockwise direction as well. Okay, Abhijit, in clockwise direction starting from A, how will you name the quadrilateral? Abhijit PP. Aditi, can you tell me? ADCB. We can name it as ADCB, quadrilateral ADCB. Understood? Now, these are the different ways in which we can name the quadrilateral. Now, quadrilateral has got 4 sides. In this case, the sides are AB, BC, DC and AD. Sides, you know, 4 angles. Can you name the angles here, Adon? Adon, can you name the angles here? Yes. Yes. Okay, all those things you know. There are 4 angles and then the 4 vertices, that is A, B, C and D. They are the 4 vertices. Then apart from all these things, there is some other thing. I've joined the vertices D and B. What do we call that? DB? DB is the diagonal. Yes, DB is the diagonal of the quadrilateral. DB is the diagonal, correct. Now, if I join, how many diagonals are possible for a quadrilateral? How many diagonals are possible? 2 diagonals. Maximum only 2 diagonals are possible, isn't it? Now, this diagonal, it divides the quadrilateral into 2 parts. Can you see the shape of these 2 parts? They are triangles, isn't it? See, the other one also, one has come diagonal. It is dividing into 2 triangles. Now, the 2 diagonals have come. You can see this. Okay. So, a quadrilateral will have 4 sides, 4 angles and 4 vertices. Now, we are going to learn about the and it divides it into 2 triangles. One diagonal divides into 2 triangles. Now we're going to use that, okay, diagonal dividing into two triangles. We are going to use that for finding out the angles and property of a quadrilateral. Now here I have a quadrilateral and I'll name it as, let us name it as P, Q, R and S. I am naming it as PQRS. Now QS is a diagonal. QS is a diagonal and it is dividing the triangle into the quadrilateral is divided into 2 parts. How many triangles are there? 2 triangles. Do you remember angles and property of triangles? Yes. Triangles, angles and properties. All the angles will add up to 180 degree. Now in this quadrilateral in PQRS, what are the angles we have? We have angle P plus angle S plus angle R plus angle Q, isn't it? These are the four angles we have. One angle here, one angle here, then we have the angles here also. S is there and this Q. Here also we have angles. Now the angle S, when we consider the triangle, angle S we divide it into 1 and 2. Angle Q we are dividing into 3 and 4. Okay. Now if I add angle P plus angle Q, angle 3, angle P plus angle S, how will I divide angle S? Angle S will be written as angle 1 plus angle 2. Is it correct? Angle S, can we write it as angle 1 plus angle 2? This small angle I am taking it as angle 1 and this is 2. Yes. So angle R is there and angle Q also I will divide it into 3 and 4. So I can write it as angle 3 plus angle 4. Now what will I get, you tell me? Angle P plus angle 1 plus angle 3. What is that? Angle P plus angle 1 plus angle 3. Yes, that is equal to 180 degree plus. So this whole thing, it becomes 180 degree. Okay. Now what is remaining? Angle R plus angle 2 plus angle 4. I am considering the remaining ones. Angle 2, angle R and angle 4 are remaining. So I am taking all the three. Angle R plus angle 2 plus angle 4. What do I get? Again 180 because of angle sum property of triangle, isn't it? Angle R plus angle 2 plus angle 4 is this triangle. So we are getting 180 plus 180 is equal to 360. So what is angle sum property of a quadrilateral? All the four angles add up to what? Add up to 360 degree. Yes, all the angles. That is the angle sum property. Sum of angles of a quadrilateral is 360 degree. Yes, now we'll be doing a problem based on this. Okay. Don't worry. Later on, I'll be posting it in the YouTube. You can watch it later. Make the notes. Okay. Now listen here. Angles of a quadrilateral are in the ratio. Just like triangles, what we have done. So I'm not going to teach you this. Triangles, you know how to do. Same way. The angles of the quadrilateral are in the ratio 3:5:9:13. Find all the angles of the quadrilateral. So I have a quadrilateral here, M, N, O, P. I am naming it as M N O P. Now I want to find all the angles of the quadrilateral. Just like triangles you have done in your PT2 also. Can you tell me how are you going to take it? Yes, children, just quiet. I'll ask only Pradul to answer. Pradul is there, no? Pradul, tell me, what is angle sum property of quadrilateral? Angle sum property of quadrilateral is equal to 360 degree. So what should we get? 3x? Tell me. Yes, 13x is equal to 360. Yes, Pradul, what is that total? How much is the total? 3 plus 5, 8. 8 plus 9, 17. 17. Yes. 30. 30x is equal to 360. Then what is x? X is equal to 360 by 30. 0 will get cancelled. What will be the answer? 36 divided by 3? 12. Therefore, the angles are. How will you get the angles? Tell me. Therefore, the angles are. No, 3 into 12. 3 into 12, 36. Then 5 into 12? 60. Then 9 into 12? 118. 13 into 12? 156. Yes. Total how much will you get? Total you will get it as 360. Okay. There is nothing to learn. You have to just know that the sum is 360. Just like what you did in What you did in triangles. Okay, 1:2 is to 3, 6 is to 5 is to 7. In triangles, the angle sum will come to, what will be the angle sum? 180 degree. Here, you have to equate it to 360 degree. There is nothing much. It is easy, isn't it? Yes. Now we'll move on to the next one. Types of quadrilaterals. This you have to listen very carefully. This is what you've already learned in 6th standard, but still I want you to know. Now here we have a four-sided polygon, four-sided quadrilateral. It is all the sides are different, all the angles are different, and we call it as an irregular quadrilateral. Okay, we cannot say all the sides are different and all the angles are also different. It is irregular quadrilateral. Now, if I take this irregular quadrilateral are of four sides. If all the four sides are different, all the angles are different, then we call it as an irregular quadrilateral. Then I'm going to tell you the family of quadrilateral. Like you have the family, you have your father, you have your father's brothers, sisters and all, you have mother's brothers, sisters and all those things. And you get the quality of your grandfather, grandmother, you get the quality of your father, mother, etc. And you have some extra qualities also, right? Same way, we are going to learn the family of quadrilaterals. Are you able to hear, children? Yes. Now, see here, first one I'm going to take, it is all based on parallel lines. All based on parallel lines. If no sides are parallel, then the type of quadrilateral we call it as a kite. Can you see the shape? Yes. Can you see the shape? The shape is like that, how we make a kite. The name is also kite. In kite, what is the specialty is the adjacent sides are equal. These two sides, the measures will be equal. Adjacent sides are equal. Just remember all these things in your mind, okay? Later, you'll have to draw the same thing in your notebook. After your exam, you can draw it neatly in your notebook, okay? It will be there in the YouTube. And afterwards, I'll ask you to submit the note, okay? Now, quadrilateral, irregular quadrilateral, if one pair is parallel, okay? If I told you, it is all based on parallel side. If one pair is parallel, one pair of side is parallel, then we call it as a trapezium. Yes, here you can see these two sides, this side and this side. These two sides are parallel to each other. It is known as a trapezium or trapezoid. Now trapezium also, there are other childrens for trapezium. Okay, we are not going into that. We are just talking about trapezium only. This lesson is all about parallelogram. So we'll be focusing on parallelogram. Now, if one pair is parallel, it is known as trapezium. There are two pairs of sides. So, if both the pairs, if two pair are parallel, then we call it as a, yes, then we call it as a parallelogram. Okay, then we call it as a parallelogram. In parallelogram, we have opposite sides. Can you see? This and this are parallel, and so we have two pair of sides that are parallel. Now the interesting thing is the brothers are also connected. You see, I told you a quadrilateral, irregular quadrilateral, if one pair is parallel, it is a trapezium. Now in parallelogram, one pair is already parallel. So what we can say is parallelogram is also a trapezium. Do you understand what I am saying? Parallelogram is also a trapezium. All parallelograms are trapeziums, but all trapeziums are not parallelograms. Why? Because in trapezium only one pair is parallel. If it has to be parallelogram, the other pair of the trapezium also has to become parallel. Only then it becomes a parallelogram. Clear? So all parallelograms are trapeziums, but all trapeziums are not parallelograms. Have you understood that? Now we are going to talk about the children of parallelogram. We are talking about the family of parallelograms only. So first I'll talk about the parallelogram. That is, you are all very familiar with this shape. It is rectangle. Yes. Rectangle, you know the angle? Yes, it is 90 degree. What about the opposite sides? Opposite sides are equal. In parallelogram also, opposite sides are equal. Okay, that and all we'll learn later. Rectangle you already know, opposite sides are equal, one angle is 90 degree. Okay, so in a parallelogram, if one angle becomes 90 degree, that is very, very important. In a parallelogram, if one angle becomes 90 degree, one angle of parallelogram is 90 degree, then we can call it as a rectangle. I'll show you how it comes. Okay, just wait. Now, the other type that we are talking about is rhombus. Parallelogram only. It is also a parallelogram. All the opposite sides are parallel. Parallelogram, they are parallelograms children. So whatever property is there for parallelogram, it is there for these children also. Okay. So opposite sides are parallel. But in rhombus, in rectangle, opposite sides are equal. In rhombus, all the sides are equal. Okay. In rhombus, all the sides are equal. There are other specialities also. As we move through the class, we'll be learning other specialities also of these things. Okay, and this is known as, its name is rhombus. We also call it as a diamond. Okay, diamond shape. This is rhombus. The specialty of rhombus is it is a parallelogram with all the sides equal. And when you look at this kite and rhombus, do you find you have similarities with your aunt, with your uncle and all, isn't it? So rhombus and kite, when you see, what do you see? In kite, adjacent sides are equal, I told you. Adjacent sides are equal. Here in rhombus also you can see the adjacent sides are equal. So see here, adjacent sides are getting equal. So rhombus is a kite as well. Are you following? Then the last child, the smallest child, and having all the properties. What is the shape? Yeah, square. Square. It is the smallest one. It has got all the properties of parallelogram. Opposite sides are parallel. Its angle is, one angle is 90 degree. It is a rectangle as well as it is a, it is a rectangle as well as it is a, yes, as well as it is a congruence. This is congruence and all you have learned. So based on that, you will be telling me. First one, properties of a parallelogram. Diagonal of a parallelogram divides it into two congruent triangles. We have already told this is a parallelogram. We can name it as A, B, C, D. I'll name it from here this time. A, B, C, D. This is a parallelogram and I am dividing it into, I am drawing the diagonal. Which is the diagonal here? AC. AC has divided the parallelogram into two triangles. Can you see the triangles? Which are the triangles? Can you tell me the name of the triangles? Triangle ADC and triangle ACB or ABC, anyway, it's okay. Okay. Now, to whom I ask, only they will answer. Okay. Now, all of you will not be opening your mouth. I want Anushka is there. Anushka, you will be telling this answer. A diagonal of a pair. I want to show that these two triangles are congruent. What you know of parallelogram is that these two sides AB and DC are parallel. You know that AD and BC, opposite sides, are parallel. Using this, you have to show that these two triangles are parallel. Is there any way? I told you you have to use congruence.
Common side, first of all, one common side.
Okay, AC equal to?
Both of them AC.
AC equal to AC, common. Okay, common side. Then?
AB equals to DC.
How do you know AB equal to DC? We know that it is a parallelogram. We only know that you haven't learned that parallelogram opposite sides. You only have the idea that AB is parallel to DC. I told you. Using that condition, you have to prove it. AB equal to DC. Parallel lines cut by a transversal AC. Think about the angles. D. DAC is equal to ACB. Is it correct? Is it correct, Dia? Diya, is it correct? DAC is equal to ACB. What is the reason?
Ma'am, alternate interior angles.
Yes. Which are the lines parallel there? AD parallel to BC and AC transversal, isn't it? Therefore, alternate interior angles. You are getting alternate interior angles. Correct. Then, next, any other angle you can take the same way. Angle BAC. Angle BAC and angle DCA. They are also alternate interior angles, isn't it? They are also alternate interior angles. Then, which are the lines parallel? AB parallel to DC, cut by transversal AC, isn't it? Now, from 2, 1 and 3, what can you say? Triangle ADC is congruent to triangle ADC is congruent to triangle A. Is it ABC? Angle A is congruent to angle C. So, CBA. Okay. Angle A is equal to angle C. Angle A should be equal to angle C. And angle A is equal to angle C here also. So, when you get it, angle A and angle C should be equal. AC should be equal to AC. So, AC is here, AC and AC. It should be equal. So, this is the congruence you get. Understood? So, these two triangles are congruent by what congruence? By ASA congruence. You got the angle, you got the side, you got the angle. By ASA congruence, these two triangles are congruent. Isn't it? Isn't it easy? Now, from this what we get, if these two triangles are congruent, then we can say that AB is equal to DC. That is, opposite sides are equal. AB and DC are equal. Similarly, you can say that AD and BC are equal. Okay, opposite sides are equal. Now, opposite angles are also equal. They are all CPCT. Okay, corresponding parts of the congruent representation. Okay, so we have to show that if diagonals of a quadrilateral bisect each other, then it is a parallelogram. Diagonals. Here there is a parallelogram. I am going to give the two diagonals. I am going to name it as PQRS. Okay. Sorry, I had to change my network because power failure is there. That is why. PQRS. If I take PQRS, can you tell me in this PQRS, diagonals are bisecting each other. What do you mean by bisect each other? What is the meaning of bisect? Making into two equal parts. So this diagonal is bisecting and this diagonal is also divided into two equal parts. That means O is the midpoint. Okay. Now you have to show that this is a parallelogram. How will you show that this is a parallelogram? Let us consider these two triangles, children. Can you show that these two triangles are congruent in some way?
Yes.
Triangle POQ and triangle ROS. Can you show that these two triangles are congruent in some way?
Yeah.
Which way? Yes? RO is equal to PO. That is given. Then SO is equal to QO. That is also given. Then anything else? This side. Yes, vertically opposite angles. Vertically opposite angles. Very correct. So angle SOR is equal to angle POQ. That is vertically opposite angles means you have what is the congruence here then? Congruent to triangle SOR by what? SAS congruence. Now when it is SAS congruence, what can you say about these angles? Let us see RO and PO. PO and RO. I have written it wrong. So this should be ROS. PO should be equal to RO and SO should be equal to QO, OQ and OS, O and O. Now it is correct. SAS congruence. Now you tell me what about the angles? Angle Q is equal to angle S. Which angle? Angle RSO. Angle RSO is equal to angle. It's the angle equal. OQP. They are what? They are alternate interior angles. Alternate interior angles are equal. So what can you say about the opposite sides? Therefore, what about SR and PQ? SR is parallel to PQ. SR is parallel to PQ. Isn't it? Why? Because alternate interior angles are equal. Now we have proved that diagonals of a quadrilateral, if diagonals bisect each other, then it is a parallelogram. Now from this there are some other things also you should know. Parallelogram, the diagonals are bisecting each other. You know parallelogram, square is a parallelogram, rectangle is a parallelogram, and also what else is a parallelogram? Three things you learned. Yes, rhombus is also a parallelogram. So when you take square, rectangle, rhombus, all these diagonals, in the case of square also, when you take a diagonal, the diagonals will bisect each other. That is, these two diagonals will be equal, this will be equal. Wherever it bisects, this will be the midpoint. In case of rectangle also, where they intersect, the diagonals intersects, that will be the midpoint. In rhombus also, the diagonals where it intersects, that is going to be the midpoint. Is it clear, children? Is it understood? Show that if diagonals of a quadrilateral bisect each other, then it is a parallelogram. So in a parallelogram, diagonals bisect each other. That is what we conclude. In a parallelogram, diagonals bisect each other. So what you should understand is, in square, rhombus, rectangle and all, the diagonals, they meet at the center. Okay, the diagonals, then don't take it as meet at the center. The diagonals, they cross each other. That crossing point is the midpoint of each of the diagonals. Okay, that is a very important point for proving. That should get into your brain. Okay, not that you have proved this and then you have left. It is not that. This proof has got a meaning, that is diagonals bisect each other. Now, we'll not go into this because time is up. We started it slow because of our assembly. Let us see. Now, I'll ask you one question. This question, it is open to all. You'll have to answer me. A parallelogram is given. It is ABCD. ABCD, a parallelogram is given. You have to find out whether it is a rectangle or not. It is given that ABCD is a parallelogram. That is the question. ABCD is a parallelogram. Now, is it a rectangle? That is the question. Now, to show that it is a rectangle, there are two things given. One is angle A is equal to 90 degree and another one is AC equal to BD. Angle A is equal to 90 degree and AC is equal to BD. These two things are given to you. With these two things, can you tell ABCD is a rectangle? Now the possible answers given are, you need both statement A and statement B. Statement 1 and 2 together are not sufficient. Even if you give these two statements, it is not sufficient to show that it is a rectangle. Second one, each statement alone is sufficient. If it is alone angle A is 90 degree or AC equal to BD, it is enough to say that it is a rectangle. Statement 2 alone is sufficient. Only statement 2 is needed. Statement 1 alone is sufficient, or both statements together are sufficient. Jaswant, have you got the answer? Jaswant, Chandana, Devrag, Aaron, Kannaki, Hritul, anyone?
Ma'am, 90 degree alone is sufficient.
90-degree angle is sufficient. How? Your answer is correct. Your answer is correct. 90-degree answer is sufficient. Very good. So you have listened to my class. A rectangle is a parallelogram in which one angle is 90-degree. Okay. If one angle is 90-degree, it is a parallelogram. So one angle is 90-degree, it is given. Therefore, it is a parallelogram. But here in this possible answer statement, one alone is sufficient is given. Now, statement 2, will that help? Anyway. It is given that it is a parallelogram. AC equal to BD. What is AC and BD? Diagonals. What have I told you? Diagonals of a rectangle are equal. So if you get AC equal to BD, then also you can say if the diagonals are equal, then it is in a parallelogram, if diagonals are equal, then also it is a rectangle. So among these statements, which statement actually fits in? Tell me. Statement 1 alone is sufficient. Yes, that is correct. Statement 2 alone is sufficient. That is also correct. 2 alone, if you say also, it is correct. But look at the options given. Yes, excellent. That is how you have to see. You have to. This is how PISA questions will be coming. CCT questions will be coming like this. Statement alone is sufficient. Each statement 1 and together are not sufficient. The answer is each statement alone is sufficient. That is, you need first statement as well as you need the second statement. First statement alone is correct. Second statement alone is also correct. So the actual answer will be each statement alone is sufficient. If you write only statement alone is sufficient, that means statement 2 is not needed at all. But statement 2 alone is sufficient, that means that statement 1 is not needed at all. Each one, both of them alone, they can say that it is a rectangle. I hope you have understood today's lesson. Now in the next class, we'll be moving on further. We'll be moving on further into other questions. Okay. Now I want those children to stay back. Darshan Gosha, you will stay back. Darshan and others, there are few more, 2 more who haven't given me oral yet. So they'll be staying back. Okay. Others can leave. Thank you, children. Thank you so much.